Welcome to No Boundaries, where we aim to get to know some of the best players in women's college lacrosse without a stick in their hand. I'm your host, Dana Boyle, ESPN and ACC network analyst. Ahead of the Syracuse UNC game, we have our first guest, star-studded and uber-talented goalkeeper for the University of North Carolina, number 30, Taylor Moreno. First question. We all watched in awe as Sarah Fuller became the first female to play and score in a Power 5 conference. She was a kicker for Vanderbilt. So I've heard that you might have something in common with her.
Yeah, so for starters, it's really started off as a joke. It was kind of like, our security guards in my high school were like the football coaches. And at the time, I had just transitioned into playing goalie for our soccer team instead of like a defender. And they're like, oh, our kicker's graduating. You want to come kick for us? Like, we think it'd be fun. It'd be pretty cool. And I was like, haha, you guys are so funny. And then like the summer rolled around and like one of like Todd or whatever, he literally calls me, he goes, okay, so we're actually losing our kicker. Do you actually want to come like try out? Like, we'll teach you how to kick the ball and then we'll just go from there. And I was like, okay. And then that summer they just basically taught me how to kick. And it was honestly like the craziest experience because even going in like before that, transitioning to a soccer goalie, I couldn't kick a soccer ball past the 50-yard line. Like, it was honestly kind of sad. I was either used to being like a forward and just having to like, finesse the ball and like a little tap. But I was never, ever really good at like accurately kicking a soccer ball. And my sixth grade science teacher, Mr. Suarez, like one summer with like the boys, like little soccer camp that they had. He's like, why don't you come on down afterwards? I'll teach you how to kick. We'll make sure that the ball goes really freaking far and then we'll go from there. And we just spent like a whole week working on it. And the next thing you know, like I actually played against Jamie Ortega in high school for soccer and like 18 seconds left and my coach is like, go up and take it. And I'm like, it's right outside the 18. And it was like 10 seconds left. So I'm like winding up and I just kicked it and ended up scoring the game winner. And Jamie Ortega was like, at that point too, me and Jamie didn't really know each other. So of course she's like walking up, she's like, you have to be kidding me. And every once in a while I'd be like, hey Jay, remember when I scored the game winner on you in high school?
So how do you feel like that confidence that you had playing soccer and then, being the only girl on your football team as the kicker, how do you feel like that translated into like your experience in high school playing lacrosse?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, obviously the people who like are really close to me, my teammates, and like obviously the coaches I had for like club and whatnot know the story, but I essentially never touched the field in high school. I maybe touched the field for 2 minutes. It was kind of as frustrating as it was for me. It was like it was really a learning moment for me. Like, I really had to learn how to be patient. I really had to learn like just to work your butt off because at the end of the day, like you have nothing left to lose. So every time I had the opportunity to go in, whether it be for that 2 minutes, I was really trying to just like not get in my own head and just be like, look, you're going to go out there and you're going to do the best you possibly can in the 2 minutes you have. And then it's kind of like Tom Brady. It's like, he's like, you never know what's going to happen. And when your time comes and you have to step up and you have to do what you need to do, like, that's when you need to shine. And I think for me, the confidence level that I had in myself, especially from like playing club and knowing that like I was the only goalie on my club team because they had the confidence in me that like I was going to do what I needed to do, was kind of like that balancing act for me. And I think it really kind of translated into how I carried myself through high school, even through that kind of like that rough time.
You are an exceptional athlete. We all know that because we watch you play, but you're also an artist and a designer. You designed the We Get To mural that your team walks out to in the tunnel, and you designed the Unity t-shirts, and you're a sneakerhead. I found that out on
Just,
YouTube.
just a tiny one.
But there's also another hidden talent. So I think you need to share that with the lacrosse community.
If you're referring to being a black belt in Taekwondo, that's like the one that like I always forget about too. Everyone's like, oh, like what's your fun fact? Or like, you go around a circle. It's like you introduce your name, where you're from, and a fun fact. And mine's usually I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. And it was started off because my parents wanted me, my brother, and my sister to like learn self-defense. Um, and then next thing you know, we were doing it for like 5+ years. So we just like kept going. So it was like the next belt you got, like, and I was literally in 8th grade when I got it, I remember. And you had to do like memorize like this whole form and everything. And it's really funny because I think a lot of the style of lacrosse I play in the cage, where like the limbs just come flying out for some reason, I think is probably like, in the back of my head, my brain's like, oh, remember that move or remember that kick from Taekwondo?
I mean, I say it all the time on the broadcast, like you could not pay me any dollar amount to be a goalie. Like I would just fail miserably. I say it all the time because I'm like, I don't know how else to like give them more props because what you guys do in cage is, I mean, it's.
I think the thing that really turns people away is like actually getting hit by a lacrosse ball. Like it is definitely a wall you have to get over, but I'll tell you what, I've gotten to the point where like I went from like, doing like, you get hit really good and you kind of like, you're like you squint and you do a little jig or like, you're like, guys, hold on 1 second. To like, now I get smacked in the thigh and it's like unfazed. Still hurts, but I'm not going to let anybody know that it hurts.
I mean, good thing you have a helmet because I mean, you can't see. Like I've tried when we were calling games in person. Like I've tried to be like, I need to see if like she just got crushed in the thigh, like in the kneecap. Like that has to hurt.
Really funny story. Yes. When we played Maryland at home in 2018, when we beat them in overtime, that second half, Jen Giles comes shrieking down the middle of the field, rips a shot probably from about the 8, hits me in the finger. I dislocated my finger. It like through my glove, dislocated my finger. The ball goes like over. They get the rebound. We're still playing defense. I'm bent over and I'm leaning to like Erin Kelly and I'm like, my thumb is not okay. And she's like, it's okay. Like you're fine. And we went through like a whole like 2 other sets. And then finally they like scored and we get in the huddle. I'm like, all right, don't pull your glove off. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Meanwhile, I'm like slowly, I'm like, I have to take it off. I look at it. My finger was like 45 degrees this way. So I like run off the field and I'm like, I just broke my thumb. I just broke my thumb. Or thank God our like team doctor's on the sidelines, Dr. Vakis, and she's like, oh no, you just dislocated it. She goes, all right, on the count of 3, I'm gonna pull it out. And she goes, 1, 2, pulls it out. Immediate relief. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go back in.
So you make a monster save. Since you don't have a stick drop, what song is playing at Durance Field as you walk up for your save song?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it would probably have to be Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Ooh, I like that.
Gallon.
Right. That's great. That's great. I did not expect that, but that's awesome. All right. 15 seconds left on the game clock. Who are you going to pass it to for an outlet for a fast break transition goal?
Emma Trenchard, game over.
I
was so excited for her to score that goal. What?
Why hasn't it happened? I say it on the broadcast. I'm like, she's gonna score.
She did. She scored in Mercer. You missed it. She scored in Mercer. Off an 8-meter too. And they put her on like the first inside hash. And I was on the sideline at that point and I was like to like Katie Hogan, Jamie Ortega standing next to me. I go, no way she takes it. No way she takes it. She ends up going scores. We all like go ballistic. She comes running out the field. I go, Emma, I totally called you weren't going to take it. She goes, Taylor, I 100% wasn't going to take it. And I was just like, honestly, screw it.
Oh my God, I'm so sad. I had a game on Sunday, or I had missed that because I had a game. Okay, next one. Favorite athlete of all time?
Steph Curry. Just the way he just throws the ball up, doesn't have a care in the world, and half the time, well, more than half the time they go in. I think that is something to aspire to.
You're going to go to goal next. So it's Emma Trenchard, and then it's you next.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So a player that's not on your team who has impressed you this season.
I would have to say Izzy Skane. Because of the fact that being a goalie and the numbers that girl is putting up right now, I would not want to be getting shot on. Like, I think it would be a huge confidence killer to go up to Izzy, to be against Izzy Skane right now with her, dropping 9 goals on you. I actually think it pretty much happened the last time we played them, 2020. I think she had like 7. And honestly, she's just like a force to be reckoned with. And it is honestly insane the stuff that she's doing right now. So huge kudos to her. And I certainly am looking forward to potentially playing them in the NCAA tournament and seeing, if our defense can really put a lock on it.
All right, last question. If you could be anything in the world, profession-wise, what would it be?
I think I'd want to be a professional soccer player. I think, first of all, the U.S. women's national team is unreal. Like, I feel like it's like automatic celebrity status if you're on that team. But people always ask me, like, if you weren't playing lacrosse, like, what sport do you think you probably would have wanted to try to play in college? And it would have 100% been soccer.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it would have been women's basketball for me, but I'm literally like 5'7" and I suck at basketball. It's just so cool. Like, I'm like, I just want to be cool and be a basketball player.
I know.
Instant celebrity status, like you said.
Yes. I mean, I would definitely play basketball too.